Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of my personal favorite stories from World War II, and it might be one of the best arts of deception in military history. You would think that you're looking at a tank, and for the most part, you'd be correct. The difference between this tank and a real tank is this is an inflatable tank, and the Allies are going to use a lot of these in different types of military personnel, which I'll explain here in a second. The reason for this was to confuse the Germans right before the Allied invasion of Normandy, so the D-Day planned for June of 1944. Now, the Germans had at least a good idea that somewhere along the coast was going to be attacked, they just didn't know where. Hitler was pretty confident that the Allies were going to attack a place called Calais, which wasn't too far along the English Channel. It's one of the shortest locations from Britain to France. Also, it's a port city. It's been attacked multiple times in history, if you go back even to the 100 Years' War. So Hitler has a lot of his defenses there. He has one of his better generals, Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, start making defenses for this area. It has a ton of tanks over there. This is another reason for it. The Allies are going to completely bamboozle the Germans here, and they're going to create a fake army. It's the 23rd Special Units, something like that. Look into the actual name, where they're going to have this inflatable unit. They have everything: tanks, ships, planes, airfields, and they just create them. Barracks are there to simulate people and movement. So when the Germans are looking at these tanks, especially from long distances, they think, oh my gosh, look at the army is moving over. They're going to attack Calais. This is the invasion that they were waiting for, not knowing that, again, this army is completely fake. How else do the Allies go ahead and simulate this being an actual base? Well, they're going to maneuver these tanks around. They literally just pick them up and plop them at different places. Also, there are spies in the area. What the army would do is they would wear insignias of different divisions, and they would have these people walk around. So even though there's 1,000 or so men actually at this fake base, the different insignias would imply that they had a much larger force. So spies would report back, yes, look at all of these different people that are there. Also, military can be very loud. So what the Allies would do is they actually recorded sounds of tanks, planes, ships, and all this stuff, and they would just blast them off through speakers that could be heard from miles away, so it sounded like a functioning military base, even though it was not. Now, the Allies are going to land on Normandy on June 6th, completely throwing the Germans by surprise, at least for the most part. D-Day, by the way, is the largest amphibious attack in the history of forever. I also should mention Erwin Rommel, who was one of the better generals for the German side, is not there. He's actually on vacation with his wife at the time. Hitler even oversleeps the early part of the D-Day invasion. There's a ton of cool stuff for D-Day. Look into the Ghost Army, though. It's a really cool story. It's the art of deception. But per always, hopefully you learned something. Love you all.